And we're back. Episode 6, baby.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it.
Let's go.
Feel good to be 1-0.
Facts.
What? Oh, no.
All right, guys. Just me, Chuck, and Vince here today. Last night, A-Rod goes down. Jets still find a way to beat the Bills 22-16. Vince, I'm going to let you start off with this one. What are your thoughts on that game?
Do we want to talk about the injury? Do we want to talk about the game?
We can talk about the injury a little bit and then the game itself, whatever you want to do.
So, me being a Bears fan, since I came out the womb, I've hated Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to use the word hate. Maybe let's just say a lot of disdain for the guy.
I got you.
But with that said, that's heartbreaking, man. I wouldn't say it's heartbreaking for me, but it's tough. It's tough to see a franchise like the Jets, who kind of similar to the Bears, have never really had a franchise quarterback in the modern day era, right? Like they had Joe Naismith, but for what all we know, the Jets have never had a quarterback, and so to see that happen last night, to basically see it kind of just end before he even got a chance to throw the ball was that was tough to watch.
Tragic, for sure.
With that said, man, I honestly felt like if he doesn't get hurt, my Jets Super Bowl prediction might have held true. That defense looks like a top 2 to 5 defense. Obviously, it's only 1 week. And with Rodgers, and Garrett Wilson looks like as good as advertised. I didn't get to watch him a whole bunch last year, but amazing catch in the end zone. They got the running game looks stout. Basically, everything that you needed to win in the postseason, the Jets had prior to that injury. And so that was tough to watch. On the flip side, the Bills, I said it. Bills just don't. They're not as tough as they was 2-3 years ago. I'm not gonna hold the mic, but yeah, that's very unfortunate for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. I still think they make a nice run, but you need a quarterback, especially in this day and age. You're not gonna go into Kansas. You're not gonna go into Arrowhead. You're not gonna go into Mile High Stadium and get a dub with a lesser quarterback. So unfortunate for Jets fans.
Chuck, before you jump into it, this your pass, Vince. Who is your new Super Bowl prediction? Because this is gonna be your pass. It's not fair for you.
Yeah, that ain't
Rodgers. Yeah, I'll let you get another pick.
I'm okay with sticking with the pick. If they don't make the Super Bowl because the injury, it's whatever. I'll have another prediction next week. I gotta let me see. Yeah, cool, I'll get another one next week.
Chuck, thoughts on last night's game?
Man, me being a Lions fan, I always respected Aaron Rodgers, but we hate Green Bay. Same as you, Vince, being a Bears fan. But to see him get hurt the third play in was just. I thought it was. I was like, it might be an ankle sprain. He didn't really seem like he tore his Achilles, but come to find out he did, and they still end up winning the game. I'm gonna be 100. When we were group texting, he got hurt. Man, I went to bed. I was like, man, it's over. I didn't even want to watch the more of the game. And I just was so mad because, as a football fan, right? I'm like, man,
exactly.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I'm no bullshit. I fell asleep. I was like, man, I can't, bro. It was the most boring. It's 5 to 10 minutes, even though the Jets were still playing good D. I just couldn't watch it. And then I woke up and I was like, the Jets, what? How'd they win? And I saw the defensive touchdown. I was like, oh, okay. So their defense is for real, and they lose their meal ticket. They were for sure playoff bound. They still could sneak in just because of the D. But this still on topic, but a little bit off. But it's just no way. Right now, I'm on the phone with the Rams. What we got to give you.
Yeah.
What we got to give you. Let's get Stafford now. No, it's no waiting. Let's go get him now. They beat the Seattle Seahawks, but let's be real, bro. They ain't gonna make no noise, man.
I don't think McVay's gonna let Stafford go just because he wants to groom the youngsters up, and they might have something rebuilding over there. And I think with a veteran QB, you kind of need that to lead them young guys. Not to get off topic, but both defenses looked really good last night. Josh Allen in these big games continues to do stupid things, and that's what Vince spoke on a couple episodes ago about his picks. Recklessness, and that's why they lose in the postseason. Even back to, I want to say, one of his first postseason games versus the Texans, he's a minute left and he's like pitching the ball after a scramble.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, it's almost like a block in his mental he can't get past, and it's going to hurt them. And their future, Diggs is going to want out if they don't get it done this year. That's what I think.
You know what, though? It's a locker room situation, too. Like, I don't think it's anyone in that locker room that holds him accountable. Like, you just can't keep doing that year after year after year, and, like, no one in the locker room saying nothing. Like, come on, you're supposed to be that guy. Someone in the locker room got to hold you accountable. Like, bro, you gotta tone this down. These plays are wild, bro. Like,
I will say this though, he took accountability in the presser. Now, does that mean much? I mean, he said it's all me, and I'm the reason why we lost this game. So I give him credit there. He took all accountability for the loss, which a quarterback should do if they're playing like that. This might be off the wall. Go ahead, Vince.
I'm sorry, guys. Before we move on, just one more point though is, I know I give Josh Allen a hard time, and rightfully so, but I honestly think reality is Buffalo's weapons just aren't as good as they were a couple years ago. Like, if you look at a lot of those interceptions, these guys are bad. Like, the one pick, like, it's double coverage. And so, one thing I will give respect, and we can move on, is, I'll give respect to Josh Allen. Kind of like Justin Fields, he's a big game hunter, man, and check downs and little dump offs just don't really cut it for him. And hey, you gotta Buffalo has going to have to find a way to get some playmakers in there, because Gabe Davis and giving the ball to James Cook 15 times a game just isn't good enough. You're not going to beat the Jets with those guys, not in my opinion. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
they should sign Jets should sign Carson Wentz. This guy right here.
God.
Is he not a top 64 quarterback in the NFL?
Go get Matt Ryan out the booth.
I'm just saying, like, it's crazy. He's a free agent, and we know his ceiling is high, his floor is really low. So, just throwing that out there. My guy got us there. Anyway, Sunday night, Cowboys 40, Giants 0. I expect the Cowboys to win and cover, but not like that. Cowboys defense is real. As advertised, they look scary. As an Eagles fan, Parsons is playing out of his mind. The whole D-line, Ozzie Smith, DeMarcus Lawrence, they look great on defense. 2 lockdown corners. It's going to be a battle when we play them later, but I don't have much to say about the Giants. They look terrible, horribly coached in that game. I'll let you guys continue from there.
Well,
I'll let you take a check.
All right. Well, I mean, that was nasty, bro. 40 to they didn't
talk about going to sleep early.
Like, bro, it was out the gate. Dallas office was like whatever. Like, Dak was just chilling. Like, he had to do nothing. But I'm not gonna buy in too much on that one game because it's the Cowboys. They do this every year. They claim to be America's team, and when it comes down to it, Dak folds. So, like, yep, he chokes. It's every year. Like, so, like, they look good, but we gotta come back around to that after like week 8, man. I'm not putting no faith in the Cowboys. They're a playoff team.
They'll make the playoffs. Yeah, they'll make the playoffs.
They always are, but I'm just not putting no faith in them to make it out the first.
I think seeding matters a lot too. It depends where they wind up seeded. If they get some home games in the playoffs, you never know. As much as I hate to say that, Vince.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna put it like this. I don't think Dallas is that good, and I honestly don't think New York Giants are that bad. Week 1 for a lot of teams is really just another preseason game. I'm not trying to put an asterisk towards the Cowboys win. Great win. You want to win as many games as you can in the National Football League. But with that said, I expect the Giants to play better, and I just don't expect the Cowboys to dominate every team that they go against 40-0. So yeah, not much to say about that game. Flood early.
Yeah, facts. Next game, probably upset of the week, possibly. Rams 30, Seahawks 13. Seahawks were my lock of the week, -4. I had 2 locks. That was one of them. They got blown out at home, which I did not see coming from anywhere. I expected a close game. Don't really have much to say about it. The Rams surprised me. That's all I got to say. And Seahawks kind of disappointed me.
Yeah, that shocked me too. I'll just piggyback on kind of what I was just saying about the Giants and Cowboys game. Preseason game.
It is. A lot of this week 1, week 2 stuff is rust knocking off rust.
Yeah, like I don't foresee the Rams, keeping up. Although Although Aaron Donald is still top 2, if not 1, in the fucking league.
Yes.
And it's like, man, like if you got Geno Smith fucking screaming, like literally screaming, like he was like, "Oh no!" It's just so who knows? Maybe they don't throw the towel in. Maybe they're not taking for the number 1 pick. But if I had to bet, they'll end up with 4 wins and a top 5 pick. So Seattle, that on the end of Seattle, that's kind of worrisome because I did pick them to win the NFC West. Not a good start if you're going to do that, dropping the game to the LA Rams. But I think they'll bounce back against Detroit.
Chuck.
We'll get to that later.
Man, so I watched because I got the what is it called? The NFL Pass with all the games.
Ticket.
Yeah, they got the ticket. So I watched a lot of football Sunday, bro. A lot. I watched a lot.
Nice.
So Seattle, they look bad. I'm not saying they won't come out next week and just they in a dome. They played Detroit tough. They beat us last year at the crib, but it was a shootout. So, like, I won't be surprised. One of the highest over-unders of the week. I won't be surprised they came out. It was a close game. But, man, like, is this the Geno Smith, like, was it a one-hit wonder? Was it 1 year? And then, like, he played out his mind last year. So, they gave him a big contract. But was that out of spite to Russ? Because Russ had it wasn't Russell Wilson. It was the Legion of Boom. It was Pete Carroll. Was that just the fuck you Russ contract to get a Geno? Because, hey, we ain't paying you. Like, that's the only thing because he looked bad Sunday, bro. I was like, this is the Geno Smith that was in New York.
Yeah, well, week 1 Russ.
I'm not going to judge him yet, but they did look bad, bro. They just to have Metcalf on one side, Lockett on one side, Kenneth Walker on the back, and a disastrous Rams team and put up nothing. That's just bad, bro.
Nasty loss for them.
Yeah.
Next game, I think we all expected this to be a shootout, and it was an exciting game. Dolphins at Chargers. Dolphins squeezed the win out. I think Vince's 2K prediction with Tyreek may hold true. Starts off the year with 215, 2 tutties. Looks like the best receiver in football. If 2 is healthy, the sky is the limit for them. And an impressive win on the road. Chargers are no pushover. I like what the Dolphins got going as long as 2 stays healthy over there.
Agreed, man. Tua, man, that's MVP level football. You can say he doesn't have the strongest arm, or he does this, or he's always hurt. But after week 1, he's the MVP front runner. Him or Tyreek Hill or whoever else, but it's Tua for me. Great performance against what should be a good Chargers defense. Like,
should be.
Bosa, Mack, the secondary. You paid Derwin James all this money. How on earth are you giving up all these points is beyond me. I'm really off of the Chargers. I was off of them last year after the debacle against Jacksonville.
Yeah,
to kind of speak on them, but I like what the Dolphins did. Defense is a little worrisome, but I expect that to get better when Ramsey comes back. So yeah, I'm high on the Dolphins right now.
Man, I don't get this. They signed Bosa all that money. They got Mack, like you said, Derwin James, and they do this every year with the same roster, bro. It's like it's like watching a rerun of Fresh Prince. Like, bro, this is crazy. Same shit every year, bro.
Every year.
Like, I'm not even surprised. He always and Tyreek Hill. I think it was like something crazy, like in 11 career games versus the Chargers, he has like 12 touchdowns. Like, he just absolutely destroys them, bro.
He destroys them.
You would think they would double him or take him away. Like, hey, Waddle, you can have 150 and 2. You're not getting it though. But like, it's the Chargers, man. It's the mediocre 7-10 team. Like, man, it's just that's why don't get me wrong. The Dolphins' offense look explosive. I'm just not buying into them yet, just because it's the Chargers. I just can't. They do this every single year.
Quick side question for you guys. When you look at a team like the Chargers, does that kind of make you want your team to kind of just put all your resources towards the offensive side of the ball? Because they have, I don't know the exact cap number, but they have a lot of money on the defensive side of the ball.
A lot,
and
yeah.
I get it that the Dolphins aren't the easiest team to defend. You know, Reek Hill is 4.2 speed, and Waddle is 4.2 speed, and Mostert is cutting it up.
4.2.
Right. But this isn't Madden, and you would just assume, with Mack and Bosa on the edges, that they get some type of pressure or stops, any type of stops. So that, with that said, would you guys put more resources towards the offensive side going forward?
That's what's crazy. Like they have Eckler, Kelly's a good backup. They have
Mhm.
three receivers now. They just drafted a receiver. They have
Yep.
Parham at tight end and a really good quarterback that just can't win the game. I don't
Can't
get
win
it.
a
I don't
game.
understand the Chargers every single year.
With
Herbert
that deep-
has top 5 talent, and with the weapons, I don't know. I don't get it. I'm confused.
Bosa should be ashamed of himself after that game. The whole defense got to be like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
they play Tennessee this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
I almost want to
yeah.
guarantee you they get flamed again. I just don't.
It's a possibility.
I just think they get. It's just Dolphins didn't even run the ball. It's like now you got to go up against Derrick Henry, and D Hop is going to get. This is the get right game for the Titans. That defense looked nasty in New Orleans. I know that Derek Carr's bad, but we'll get to it. But I ain't buying in the Chargers. I never have, and I never will. Phillip Rivers, bro. That was it. After that, it's over.
Another guy couldn't get it done, but he was a good quarterback. Next game, and I'm gonna let you guys start this one off. Eagles at Patriots. Vince, start me off. What you got, man?
That game wasn't too much of a shocker as he drinks the milk. That game wasn't too much of a shocker. I think we all expected that game to be kind of tight. The line kind of told us that one, right? Like I think it was 4.5, something like that. I think Eagles have you guys beaten them, or it was something like you guys haven't went into Gillette and won, or something wild like that. So I can't say that I did. I will say that once the Eagles went up, I think it was 14-0, that I thought it was over with. So credit to Mac Jones and the Patriots for fighting. But I think if the Eagles were as sharp as they were, let's say last year, or if they were in that fine-tuned stage, that game is over with by halftime. So I'm not putting too much stock into the Patriots keeping it close. I still think the Patriots win four games. I think, if that. So not too much. Eagles, they won. That's all you can do in the National Football League.
Yep. Chuck?
I'm going to say the Eagles, it's the first, they did this last year. They came out flat. They still won the game. They had this, it was like last year they won their first game, but it came out flat a little bit.
It was a shootout with Detroit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was versus, and they came, it's the Eagles, bro. They still ain't nothing changed. They my Super Bowl picks. Like, they'll get right Thursday against the Vikings. Vikings just a bad road team, and they got to go outside and play. That's going to be rough. But I just think the Eagles will get right. This Thursday's a get right game. They won, but you could see it after they won. They were like, we got to do better than that. We supposed to come in here and smack that team. Patriots, nobody played good. Mac Jones, he didn't look terrible. Like, they looked okay. Their defense is good, though. I give their defense is good. But as far as offense go, like, if they could survive every week, just with Bill just calling them plays like that, I guess they can win some games. But that's just gonna be it's gonna be a win-loss type situation for them all year.
And if you guys are watching, we're missing somebody right now. How ironic, right? And we put him on the milk carton.
Oh, he's on the milk carton.
We can't find him. We can't find this guy. Nobody knows where he's at.
He said he'd be home in 10 minutes.
With that being said, I'll touch on kind of what Vince said. It's like preseason, man. It just, they came out hot, 16-0, got a turnover, scored fast, and they just couldn't move the ball. Just rustiness. Hurts missed some reads. He had Goddard wide open for 40 yards twice, and I'm like, he forced it to AJ deep. Even Sirianni touched on it after the game. He's like, I regret not playing my starters 1 or 2 series, and that's something he wrote down. And I just think moving forward, teams in general, why did teams get away from not playing starters at all, especially the starters that need it? You could maybe say the Eagles, okay, you did your thing last year. You don't need to play your starters. But there's so many teams that don't play their starters now that should be playing their starters at least 1 or 2 series. So just a rusty game. I'm happy they got a win on the road because a road win's always tough. I think they handle the Vikings next week. Next game we got, I guess you could say this was an upset. It was a small spread. Raiders at Broncos, 17-16, low scoring. Jimmy G, he had a pretty good game. I don't watch that game, so I can't really touch on it much, but I was surprised the Raiders won.
Man, you want to talk about 2 bad teams. And I'm not going to take my Russell Wilson.
Those your Broncos. Those your Broncos.
I'm not going to take it back yet, but that looked bad. I was like, man. But, they got a lot of injuries too, man. Jerry Jeudy didn't play.
I saw that.
Somebody, Tim Patrick, like the Broncos are the receiving core. It's just depleted. They got nobody until those guys come back. Well, I think Tim Patrick's off for the season, but he needs Jerry Jeudy, man, and they got to get that run game going. The Raiders I don't know how they won that game, but it's just two bad teams, man. It was ugly. But I mean, like, I ain't got nothing to say about that game. That was just an ugly game.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. I was, watching the Bears lose to the Packers live at Soldier Field. But from the highlights and the things that I did catch, I saw a lot of lack of effort from the Raiders. So I'm kind of with Chuck. I'm not too sure how they won that game, but I also didn't see, what the Broncos was putting out there. So now that I'm back home, I'll catch them next week. But if I had to guess, that's probably just a matchup of two bad teams going against each other.
Yeah, I think Broncos tight end Dulcich, I think he got hurt sometime in the game. Jacoby Myers had a big day for the Raiders. I know Jimmy missed Adams on a couple throws, but yeah, not much going on in that game. Next, we got the Packers at the Bears. Packers win 38-20. Also I got that completely wrong. I had Bears winning 30-20 and covering. So I was completely wrong on that. Another game I didn't catch much of, but I tried to tune in as much as I could. Vince, you were there. I'll let you elaborate. Chuck's got a smirk on his face. I'll let him get into it afterwards.
Well, let Chuck go first. I want to hear what Chuck has to say.
What was it? I texted the wrong chat. I'll finish it. I texted the Talk Soon chat instead of my girl.
It's all right.
Go ahead.
Packers, Bears, Chuck. Packers 38, Bears 20. Let's hear it.
Get your shit off. Go
ahead. Okay, so, man, I know I cap and be like the Bears is ass and all that. But I ain't gonna lie, I didn't expect the Packers to go in there and just do what they did to the Bears. But the one thing I will tell you this, it's week 1, and I know I talk a lot of shit, I just be joking. But it's week 1, so they probably got, I don't know the preseason. Did they play a lot in the preseason, Vince?
The starters played 2 out of the 3.
Okay, so they just got to get on the same page. Because it was, I remember, I think the Bears scored in something like 4 or 5 plays, one drive. When they click, it's like, damn, okay, I see what Justin Fields' hype is. But, man, when they get bad and he's standing there in that pocket just patting that ball, bro, it just gets disastrous because all he wants to do is run. He just wants to break. He just wants to leave. He just wants to go. So I just got to think they find a balance between the run and the pass because he doesn't have to win the game himself. That's what I got from the Packers game. They get down and he I got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Right. He just feels like he has to win games. Because he has talent, man. He's electric on the field. But man, that was nasty. They got to fix that in Tampa. I don't know what they. And by the way, when we get to that game, I watched that Tampa game. That defense is for real. So I mean, it's going to be tough on the road to win in Tampa. As long as Mayfield don't, Mayfield. That's going to be a tough game for the Bears to win, bro. I'm telling you. That defense is real.
Yeah. So I'm not going to bombard the podcast with Bears talk because I could talk about this for the next hour, but I won't do that. With that said, man, it was a shocker to me, and that's on me though, right? As a Bears fan, like I said, since birth, I should know that there's a good chance we lose that game. It don't matter who's at quarterback, right? That's a team that has literally owned us the latter part of the last 20 years, give or take. Mitchell Trubisky winning the division in 2018, and maybe a few other one-off years. So, and to speak towards the game, man, it's time for the coaches over there in Chicago to just take the reins off. We don't really know what Justin Fields can do as a passer because the latter part of the last 2 years, he just hasn't been granted an opportunity, whether it's the offensive line breaking down too soon or just the lack of play calls to kind of, have him throw the ball. So I'm not going to talk too much about it. I don't think the season is over by any stretch. I know that it's easy to be like, oh, well, the Bears lost to the Packers. But if you go back to Talk Soon episode 2, I believe, when we were going over predictions, I like the Packers over 7.5 wins or whatever it was. I think I said on that same episode that outside of quarterback, that was probably the best roster in the NFC North. You can argue Detroit that'll still be remain to be seen, but overall roster, secondary, linebackers, fronts on both ends, Green Bay's pretty good. And if you ask me, offensively, they have the best head coach in the conference. Like, Matt LaFleur is a genius when it comes to cooking up plays.
For sure.
Like,
yeah, for sure.
So
I agree with that.
With that said, I think the North it's going to be a tight race. I don't think it's over by any stretch. I still believe in that guy back there. So we'll see. And I got us beating Tampa Bay next week. So
Lions comfortably.
Yeah, I got one thing. I ain't gonna hold you up though. Like that division, our NFC North. Like, I mean, I picked the Vikings to win the division, and I'm gonna tell you why I did that.
We know.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Being a Lions fan this long, but I'm gonna tell you something. Out of every coach in that division, you would say Detroit, not like he's the worst coach in the league, but he's the worst coach in that division.
Dan Campbell?
Yeah, am I right? Vikings head coach is better. The Bears head coach has a bigger resume, and the Packers head coach is better. I'm scared of the Packers. They scheme really good. Yeah, I know they're just gonna be a problem in Lambeau, just the way they scheme. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Detroit looked great, but man, he had a lot of questionable plays Thursday night, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, he just has the nuts to do the shit. Like, it's like no one goes for it on 4th and 2 at the opponent's fucking 18-yard line. That shit's wild, bro. Like, that could have been the game. Like, that shit just not gonna fly all the time. Yeah, they scored off that possession, but that's the only thing about that conference where I'm kind of like, it's him just questionable play calls, man. I wish I felt a little more comfortable with him.
Yeah, the North. You can put me on record on this. The North's going to come down to week 17.
I can see that.
It's possible. Next game, no surprise here. Texans go into Baltimore. They lose 25-9. I did catch a lot of the game. Lamar didn't look great. I don't know if he was rusty, but I was disappointed in Lamar. I feel like I know they won the game. They won comfortably, but I feel like he should have played better versus a team that's probably going to win 2 or 3 games this year. I expected more out of him. I mean, he missed Odell on some go routes, which maybe they're getting the chemistry down a little bit more. But at the end of the day, they won the game, and that's all that matters. It was kind of ugly. Texans were in there for a little bit, but they won the game, so credit to the Ravens getting a Week 1 win.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. My younger brother is actually a Ravens fan, and he's kind of worried about some of the injuries to J.K. and Marcus Williams.
Again with J.K.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was kind of telling him, like, I'm like, does he ever really play? Like, I feel like he's always hurt.
Yeah.
But with that, I think the Ravens are fine, even with those losses. And I think that, them struggling against Houston is just another case of rustiness. Because I think he even got on Twitter and said, hey, I'm rusty as fuck. So I think the Ravens are a top 4 team in the AFC, especially now that Aaron Rodgers is out of there. And they're gonna be tough to beat in January.
Yeah, they lost J.K. Dobbins for the year again. That's rough. I mean, they still gonna be all right, but they lost him for the whole year again.
It's like the second or third time, right?
Yeah, it's like, bro. I mean, like, and he looked good. The little couple drives he played, like he scored a touchdown. He looked great, and then he's just out for the year. That's gonna be hard to replace. I know they got this. I know Lamar can run, and they got a committee in the backfield. That's cool, but they're gonna miss J.K. Dobbins. But they did look bad, man. But Marlon Humphreys didn't play. Like, it's the Texans. They could have just took the gas off and be like, hey, let's just figure out some stuff. This is another preseason game. Let's figure out some stuff. You know what I'm saying? So Mark Andrews didn't play. So it's like, yeah, it's a big question mark. Like, I'm with Vince, though. They're top 4 in the AFC. They'll be fine. They got a test this week, though. We're going to see. They play the Bengals in Cincinnati.
What we got? Next game, just an ugly all-around game. Cardinals at Commanders. Somehow the Commanders didn't cover that game. Who knows how, but just bad football, man. Bad football all around.
I saw that game too.
These teams will be nowhere near the top of anything. Probably going to be both top 5 picks, if I had to guess. That's all I got on that game.
Yeah, that's disappointing. I didn't get to put my picks in because I was traveling, but my 2 locks were one of my locks. Commanders -7 and Baltimore minus, I think it was 9.5.
10, 9.5, 10.
Yeah, they covered. But yeah, man, like that's disappointing because all offseason we heard, the Commanders got these pieces, they got these weapons, and Sam Howell is going to be the guy, right? Like he beat Dallas week 17. We got to stop this. We got to stop crowning these guys who come in with just one game and no tape. And of course he's going to play well. There's no fucking tape on him.
There's nothing on
him. Tape on him. He's bagged by whoever the hell is on Carolina's defense. Like, I don't even know who's on there. Like, how do you
ghost of Pat Peterson?
Yeah, they just traded Isaiah Simmons to New York, so I'm just like, who's on this team for you guys to be struggling the way you were struggling against them? So, like you said, Gears, 2 bum teams won't be anywhere near the end. Both going to be in the bottom of their respective divisions. We can move on.
Chuck, do you have anything on that game?
Yeah, I watched that game too. Like I said, I just got a little bit of everything, but man, Arizona defense played like it was I'm talking about like the best D in the league. Like Joshua Dobbs stats, it was like, how did they even like stay in the game, bro? It was so bad. That game was ugly. Washington offense just looked discombobulated, man. Like, but I will say this about Washington defense. Washington defense did play good. And on top of that, Chase Young did not play. So they'll have him back. They'll have him back this week for the game in Denver, which I think they're going to beat Denver. I don't think Denver can get it. And I picked Denver to make some noise. But without those pieces they got right now, missing their whole offense, I just don't see how he could do anything. But they look bad. But like I said, it's the Commanders. I mean, like that division, Dallas, the Eagles, the Giants. They can forget about it, man. They might. They might compete with the Giants, but those other 2 teams are just too dominant. Yeah, let's move on from this game, bro. This game was ugly, bro.
Next game, my initial pick was the home team. Then I switched after like thinking about it. Niners 30, Steelers 7. I had Niners covering this game. When I thought about it, I was like, they're just the better team on paper, and I'll just, Pickett versus Purdy. It's probably right here and here. After the game, Purdy here, Pickett here. So not too surprised by the result. I thought Steelers would get more than 7, but Niners are dominant. Outside of the Dallas game, this was the most dominant game of the week. Probably a tougher game for them going to Pittsburgh, but Purdy looked good. McCaffrey looked like the best running back in football. That's all I got on the Niners Steelers. Vince, you take from there. There he is.
There he is.
We found him. We found him.
What happened? What's going over? Can we
got you on the back of the cart? That's crazy.
What happened?
Can we?
Oh no, what's this milk carton? Go back, bitch.
We lost you, man. We lost
you.
Because the Patriots lost and you wasn't here to talk about it. But
you're missing, dog. Go ahead, Vince.
Bro.
To answer that question, man, we need to pull the receipts on what I was saying about Kenny Pickett, man. Just a guy, not that good of a quarterback. I said this. I think this was all still episode 2, maybe episode 3, but never really liked anything from Kenny Pickett. I honestly think Mitchell Trubisky should be starting. I stand on that. But I will say is I might have been wrong on Brock Purdy. I know I also said that he was just a guy, very adamant about that. So, but no, the 49ers look really good. I just think they played a bad Steelers team. I didn't know there could be an offensive coordinator or an offensive system worse than the Bears. Pittsburgh's offense is just, I don't know what the hell they're doing sometimes on offense. It's like, where's your identity? Like, what's your, you got George Pickens who can be a top 5 receiver if he's utilized right, just off his athletic traits. And it's just, you don't see none of that when they play. It's just a bunch of randomness. So, stock is really low on Kenny Pickett, and I might be eating some crow about Brock Purdy.
And I'll let you go, Chuck. Deontay Johnson got hurt as well, I believe. I don't know. I don't think it's anything major, but he'll probably be out next week. Go ahead, Chuck.
So, Steelers are mediocre, like last year. So, am I surprised? No. Did I think it was going to be a closer game? Yes. Did I disrespect Brock Purdy? Yes. I apologize.
Me too. Just week 1 though. Let's see.
Yeah,
that defense, bro. I take what I said back. They're winning that division. Bro. I've seen enough with that defense. I know it's week 1, but they're the same defense that beat Aaron Rodgers at Green Bay that year. Like, it's just and they just their offense is just so you don't know if they're going to score 31 game or you don't know if they're going to score 7-1 game. But they're that same team that lost last year to the Eagles in the NFC Championship. They're going to win. They're going to win that division. It's just they're going to be right back. Just can Brock Purdy get it done? That's what it's going to come down to.
Frazier, Niners at Steelers, 30-7. What you got?
I got the Niners. Yeah, their offense is clicking. Their defense is clicking. Their defense is unrealistic right now. But to take a point from what Chuck said, I'm still going to ride with the Seahawks winning that division. Just a bad week 1. I got to stick to my guns, so I'm going to ride with them. But, yeah, as far as the Steelers, yeah, they look like dog water. So, yeah, what I said about Kenny Pickett and them showing they behind this year, that might have all just went out the window. So, yeah.
Hey, wow. They had the Kenny Pickett and George Pickens Madden 89 overall cards early, hyping them up.
Man, exactly. Yeah. Like, they was good. Like, no. They're ass. But, yeah, I got San Francisco.
Also with that game, Brandon Ayuk, big game. I think he's in a contract year. He's probably going to ball out all year. If you got some people that don't know better, try to trade for him in fantasy. Next game, Titans at Saints. Nasty cover by the Titans. Disgusting. They should have went for it on 4th down to possibly win the game. If they settled for 3, then wind up losing the next drive because they didn't touch the ball again. I don't like decisions like that because if you got to get a stop, why not just go for it anyway?
Yeah,
and try to win the game. So bad coaching decision by Vrabel there. They did decent versus Henry. Carr, just a guy. Vince, Derek Carr, just a guy. Didn't look great. Olave looked pretty good. MT looked kind of like himself a little bit, but I just don't believe in Carr, and they'll be a one and done playoff team if they win that division. I have picked them, but
man. They
yeah.
Go ahead, Vince.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's another game that I didn't get to catch. It looked like a bumbo from just before it even started. But with that said, man, like I will say is when I was watching the box score at the Bears game, all I could think was what is Derek Carr doing? Like what are they doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like I think this is arguably his best team ever. You know what I'm saying? Because Saints got a lot of defense. You know, maybe outside of the team that made the playoffs with Khalil Mack. I think it was his rookie season and things like that. This is probably the best arrangement of weapons he's had.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they won the game. I will say, like Garrett said, you know, I'm worried about the pick now because it just wasn't that impressive of a performance. But we'll see. It's a long season.
Sure.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, I watched that game too. But freaking, it just well, I will say this though: Titans defense. They had a lot of injuries last year. That defense is like back. It's underrated, man. They know they learn how to run the ball. They got D-Hop. Titans might be sneaky if Tannehill get it together, but Derek Carr, you got too many weapons, man, to be out there that mediocre at home. Like it's
in
just
the dome.
In the dome, man.
Real bad pick too, right?
Yeah,
nasty
pick.
That's what nasty.
Nasty.
Very bad. You see why the Lions let Jamal Williams walk. I saw that Sunday. He's
a backup.
He's a backup. I hate to say it like that, man. He's an emotional guy. You love to see it, but I see why they let him walk. Like I see why they let him walk.
How many touchdowns he had last year?
18, I think. I think 18, 17 or something.
The league or something, right?
Yeah,
he has a nose for the end zone. Yeah, he has a nose for the end zone, but as far as everything else goes, it's not that fast. He has decent hands. Like it's not. I get why they let him go, man. But like that when they get Kamara back, if Derek Carr don't get clicking, it's like this it. It's over. Like right, he don't get another pass. I don't even know why he got this many passes. Crazy. He's never won anything.
I mean, I had a chance to watch the game. I had a chance to watch all the games, actually. Kind of back and forth. Yeah, I did see the Saints defense look real nice. Marshawn Lattimore kind of had D-Hop on straps. It was crazy. But the Titans defense did also have the offense on straps over there. Derek Carr, ass.
Just the guy.
Complete dog water. Wiener water, whatever. He's ass.
Yeah.
But
Ooh.
I'm not gonna let Ryan Tannehill slip through the cracks either because he's worse ass. He might be worse than Derek Carr.
This is your Ryan Tannehill. Don't forget it.
Mhm.
No, I'm playing. I'm
What was that,
I'm
MVP
playing.
or something like that?
Nah, he didn't do that. He didn't do
I didn't do that. Don't try to call me out on that. I ain't do that.
I just know one episode, it was a lot of bad quarterbacks being named. I heard Derek Carr and
I said
Tannehill
Jimmy
and
Garoppolo.
there it is, another guy, just another bum. But
Just another guy. You know.
With that game, one of my locks was Michael Thomas over 3.5 receptions. He got 5, 8
Yeah.
targets like I predicted. I just felt like it was too low. Like it's Olave and MT and Jawan Johnson at tight end, which I don't think he was going to do much. So when they get
Right.
Kamara back, maybe Jamal Williams will shine a little more because he's just going to get all the inside
Change
the
of
10
pace.
touches.
Change of pace, yeah.
But he's definitely not the number one there. Next game, a little bit of a surprise. Bucks at Vikings. Baker did his thing, I guess, and Bucks defense looked real, like you said, Chuck. They still got a good roster when you look at them on paper. It's just, what is Baker going to do?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this: Vikings got to figure that run game out. I thought Madison, he's decent,
Yeah.
but man, he's decent, but they're gonna miss Dalvin Cook this year. I didn't realize it was gonna make that big of a deal, but they're gonna miss Dalvin Cook. And the Bucks always had good run day. You couldn't run on the Bucks for like the last 3-4 years. They got those linebackers. They got the fastest linebackers in the league. Those cornerbacks are good. The Bucks defense is for real. They're gonna win games just based on their defense. And if Baker can control the ball, man, that division is bad, bro.
Yeah.
That division, I wouldn't be surprised if
Agreed.
the Bucks they could sneak in and win that division, man. But the Vikings,
run away with it.
I watched that game. The Vikings had a lot of bad mistakes. I think they had like 2 fumbles, an interception. Like it was just and they still lost by 3. So that's why I'm like, their offense looked good. Cousins threw for like 350 or something like that. Jefferson had a great game. Like their offense looked good, but they just couldn't run the ball, and their defense looked good. They just turned the ball over like stupid mistakes. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Minnesota was my pick to win the division, and I still have to see this Lions thing out because I'm not, even though I'm a Lions fan, I'm happy because we beat the Chiefs, but I'm just not sold on how we beat the Chiefs. We have to beat the Seahawks this week convincingly, and then I'm like, all right, I'm buying a little more. But I think the Vikings, upset, but they'll get it right. They'll get it right when they get back home after week 2 because it's gonna be rough in Philly.
I guess I'll go. I think the Bucks are kind of similar to the Packers, right? I think that that's a team that they lost a Hall of Fame quarterback, but like Chuck said, great defense. Still got Mike Evans. Still got Chris Godwin. Shit, put me at quarterback. I might be able to go out there and do something. And it's kind of, and then to another one of Chuck's points is for Baker. It's just a matter of managing those games, right? It's that the defense isn't going to give up 30 points a game. And you have enough weapons that if you can just open your eyes, something he's struggled at doing over the course of his career.
Mm-hmm.
But if he could just open his eyes and not turn the ball over, Bucks could sneak it, could win that division. That's not too far fetched to believe. As in terms of Minnesota, I was low on them when the season was starting up. I think the way that they lost to the Giants in the playoffs was kind of telling for what was going to happen this season for them. But it's still early. Maybe they turn it around. I think they're going to score points, but in terms of them getting stops when they need to, I don't see it happening. And then to another one of Chuck's points, the lack of run game, just, you got to be able to hand the ball off sometimes. And if they can't, then Kirk Cousins is going to explode at some point. So implode. I'm sorry.
Stay with the Bucks. If Baker keeps playing the way Baker's playing, and if you got Baker out here stiff arming DBs, tell them to get their weight up. Get your weight crazy, get your weight up. Like if he doing that, like you might see a different Baker. Like you might see a different Baker, and might see a different Bucks team. But yeah, their defense is for real. I think the only person they lost on their defense is Antoine Winfield Jr. Right?
Did they lose him? I thought he was in rookie contract. He's still there.
He's still there? Okay.
He should be.
No, I thought he played for the Jets now. Or maybe I'm tripping.
Nah, you're thinking of someone else. Winfield's still there. He's still on his rookie deal.
You're thinking of Jamal Dean?
No, Dean's there.
No.
It's Bunning Murphy is with the Titans now.
Burton
Corner.
Murphy, yeah, that's who it
Okay,
is.
He's
okay,
with
that's
the
what it
Titans
is.
now.
Okay, so yeah, I mean that's the only person that really lost. Yeah, so they could be the real deal. You know, Mike Evans, Godwin's gonna always be goated. Evans always just gonna be able to run deep and catch balls. That's all he could do because he can't run routes to save his life. But
That's back-to-back weeks. You're hating on Mike Evans. Wow.
I'm not hating on Mike Evans. I'm just telling the truth.
Can't run routes. He did drop a touchdown right in his hands.
Yeah, he did drop
exactly.
one.
Butterfinger. Butter Evans, to call him that.
Oh man, that's crazy.
The Vikings, I mean, I like the Vikings. They unfortunately they had a bad game, no run game. Yeah, they're gonna miss Dalvin Cook, but at the same time, I mean, I feel like once they get it going, it's gonna get going. Like you're not gonna be able to stop Addison. You're not gonna be able to stop Jay Jettas. You know, once they get locked in and get some kind of run game, if they can get 75 yards to 100 yards, maybe. With a runner, maybe on like 15 carries, 15, 18, 20 carries, maybe, they'll be all right because then they can control the clock, management. All they got to do is get in the end zone, and that's it.
Shout out to Addison, by the way. I told you guys he's a sleeper. He went up top.
Tutty.
Next game, Jags at Colts. Oh, go ahead, Chuck.
Oh, real quick about the Bucks. Listen to this linebacking core, bro. They might got the best linebackers in the league as a group.
Yeah, I know. Devin White.
I know.
White, David, and Barrett. Bro, that's the best and probably the fastest group of linebackers. Carlton Davis and Antoine Winfield on the outside. Bro, James Dean in the bro. This is right. This Ryan Neal. This is nasty, bro. Like I ain't gonna hold you up. Like it's gonna be rough for the Bears. I'm not saying they're gonna, but it's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough game.
Hey man, if you want the same 2-1, you can get it right here on the top.
I already got the bet with you. I like the Bucks, man. I ain't gonna hold you.
Oh,
up.
You know what though? Bears are dogs this weekend. What am I talking about?
Yeah, they're 3-point dogs. When I checked Monday, they were -3. Let me see. I'll check right now.
We'll get into the picks next week, fellas.
Yep.
Jags at Colts. I actually had the Colts covering, and the way they didn't cover is kind of like it was nasty. But Jags covered. Not surprised they covered. 31-21. Started off kind of close. Richardson looked good for the rook. He was one of the better rookies that looked good. I like the way he played. They might have something there moving forward. Maybe if Jonathan Taylor comes back, it'll take some relief off of him. Michael Pittman had a big game. Calvin Ridley balled out. I think we all kind of figured that would happen. Christian Kirk, I didn't hear much from. Zay Jones played well. Etienne did his thing. Yeah, Jags looked as I expected. No surprise in that game, really.
I mean, yeah. See, this is how you know Vegas. This is why I respect Vegas. I was looking at that line, and it was -4. I was like, man, first-year quarterback, Jacksonville just lost to the Chiefs with a nail biter in the playoffs. What am I missing here? Is this Colts team better than you know what I'm saying, and advertised? Like, wait a minute.
It should have covered.
And Vegas definitely had that shit on the money. I could tell you Calvin Ridley. I know Atlanta gonna be sick about that one. Calvin Ridley looked right. Like I'm talking about Lawrence is locked in on him and all that Christian Kirk shit. You could forget about it. Calvin Ridley show up there in Jacksonville. Like you said, Philadelphia won on the road. It was ugly. You know, they went on the road. It was ugly, but they got the dub, right? So
yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't know if they're for real or not, but they'll be fun to watch this year.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. In terms of like the spread talk and things like that. That 4 scared me. If you bet, you look at a line like that and you say, "What the fuck?" Right? Like, what's going on, right? But for that one, I just took Jags money line, added it to some crazy parlay that still ended up losing. But in terms of the game, I think that's just another case of like week 1 preseason feels, filling out, the other team and, just really trying to get a grasp of what you got. And so, Jags got it done, kind of in the same sense of like the Eagles, right? Like, yeah, maybe the game shouldn't have been that close, but you take any wins you can get in the National Football League. So I'm pretty sure that the Jags are happy to get out of there with a dub.
Treasure.
Yeah, the Jags look real nice. I can't say that after that first pick that Trevor Lawrence threw, It looked a little scary because it was like they wasn't really getting the yards, they wasn't really doing anything. But then all of a sudden, here comes Ridley, here comes Ingram, here comes Zay Jones. Like they really just started to lock in on what they needed to do. What I did like Anthony Richardson and them though. Like they definitely was doing their thing. Anthony Richardson ain't scared to take a hit. He knows how to look down his first read, second read, and take off if he needs to, but he's not trying to take off. Like you said, once they get Jonathan Taylor back, it might help him out a little bit. Him being a rookie and everything. So I like it. I didn't bet on the game, but I like it. What I saw from both teams, I just feel like if Calvin Ridley and them just keep playing like they playing, and the defense step up, like they're gonna be scary when it come playoff time. Once they start to gel together a little more. Also, my lock it wasn't really a lock. It was just a bet that I was calling out for Anthony Richardson over 56 yards, which he only got 40. It was kind of bad because he had a couple chances where he could have took off, and he decided to pass the ball, and it got broken up on third down on like 3rd and 3s and 3rd and 5s and stuff like that. So, unfortunately.
Yeah, and if I think Josh Allen on the Jags, I want to say he had 3 sacks. He had a big game yesterday, or Sunday, I should say. Sunday. If you guys didn't catch the end of that game, Colts had like a 1st and goal inside the 6.
Yeah.
And Vegas was right on the money because they were supposed to cover that 1st and goal. Like under a minute left. They would have been an easy cover, and they got stopped 4 straight. Next game, Bengals at Browns. I did pick the Browns. I did not expect a blowout like this. Browns 24-3.
Took Browns.
Burrow he continues to struggle with the Browns. They kind of got his number. Chubb still looks like Chubb, one of the best running backs in football. Watson looked decent. He took off when he needed to. Didn't look great. He looked decent. Had a solid game. Elijah Moore, they did move him. I watched that game. They had him at running back sometimes, so they're moving him around a lot. Amari Cooper had a decent game. Great defense. Myles Garrett did a crossover sack. I don't know if you saw the highlight. Really crossing over. Something new, but a good win for the Browns.
Call it the don't blink.
I'll kind of piggyback off of that. I guess that's the reason why I'm kind of so chill today, right? Or I've been chill since Monday afternoon, late Monday afternoon. Because, hey, man, listen, it's like Justin Fields wasn't the worst quarterback on Sunday, not even by it's not even close.
You're right about
and so it's like you look across the league and you see Joe Burrow, who just got this fat ass contract, right?
$700 million.
A plethora of weapons, right? And goes out there and stinks it up. And not only just stinks it up, but he never beats the Browns. You know what I mean? Like he's like 0-5, 0-6 against them. So let's just pump the brakes. To speak on the game, I think that the Bengals missed Joe Burrow during training camp. I think that they'll find it just like they found it last year. I think last year they started 2-4 or something off like crazy. That, and so they'll pick up the speed. They'll be better than what they proved on Sunday. But week 1 is just fool's gold. Nothing to worry about. So that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, bounce back the week. Guys like that have weeks like he had. He gets the Ravens at home, just lost their best running back. Mark Andrews still up in the air. Marlon Humphreys is still questionable. This is just the Bengals onslaught. Joe Burrow has these games where he throws for 304 touchdowns. I think this is one of them. It's just, I feel like this is a bounce back week. But back to the game, we called it. Garrett, we said it. We said the Browns going to win before we even start pod. And we was like, I just think they got better defense. That their defense is real. Myles Garrett's real. And they got a run game. And Deshaun ain't got to do too much. As long as Deshaun don't turn the ball over, that team's going to be in every game like that. They just got good D and they can run the ball. And once Deshaun and Amari click, then it's all right, the sky's the limit for that team, man. But I'm not surprised they won, but I am surprised on how bad they beat them.
Right. Same.
But I think it's a bounce back for Joe Burrow week 2.
Frazier?
So Joe Burrow's in freaking box. He was caged,
Locked
a
up.
bag. He was locked. Like, I'm looking at stats now. I knew some of these stats. I do remember hearing that T. Higgins had no catches, which he didn't. He had 8 targets for no catches. I mean, Jamar Chase 39 yards. Like, you got to do better, regardless of you not being there for training camp. It's raining. I don't care. Like, you're getting paid all this money. You're a professional athlete. You should either sit out because you know you have this hamstring injury or whatever's going on with him. You know, either sit out or you come in, you play the best that you can play, and don't make some kind of excuse about it. Because I feel like with people being like, oh, they lost, and the first thing I hear is, oh, it's because he had an injury. It's because it was raining. No excuses. No excuses. He came out there. He just got paid. You got all his money. Like, do better. We've seen what you can do. We know what you can do. So get out there and do better. Higgins. Okay. Anyways, Chase gonna be Chase. We know Chase, but yeah, people saying Higgins like the top number one. Like, he got to show me. He gonna have to prove some more. Like, they got 2 good receivers, but like, I don't know if Higgins can be a number one somewhere else. As far as the Browns, though, yeah, we definitely called it the Browns winning. I did like what I saw from Deshaun. You know, he looked a little rusty still. You know, it's gonna take him some time to get back in there full speed. But Myles Garrett, yeah, it looked like the wrecking ball of something mixed with like a TJ Watt / Patrick Willis / I don't know. He looked like a little bit of everything out there.
Superhuman.
He better than Aaron Donald?
Man. I ain't gonna say all that because Aaron Donald was a one-man wrecking crew of his game.
Okay.
So but yeah, it was crazy. I definitely like Cleveland, what they did or whatever, and their defense looked real good. Like I said, man, Denzel Ward is just a lockdown. Like, put him on somebody, he gonna lock him up.
He had a big game.
He definitely did.
Last game, Panthers at Falcons. I'm not really surprised. Falcons covered. Ritter looked horrible. I know Falcons fans that are sick of him already. With that being said, he's 15 to 18, but it's just like, it's nothing special. And with the weapons he has, them receivers are just like Drake London, another goose egg. Kyle Pitts, did he play football yesterday or Sunday? Matt Collins, you know. I love what I saw of Bijan Robinson. Big game.
Yeah.
I think he got 10 carries. The Algier is 15, which surprised me a little. And Algier got 2 tutties off that. But Bijan looks like the man. He looks like a faster version of Zeke when he came in the league, from what I see. I like what the Falcons are building over there. They need a quarterback, though.
Yeah, they need a quarterback. That Ritter shit is just bad, bro. It's just bad. Like, I don't even know how they won that game. Ritter was so bad. But Bijan looks explosive. He's a great athlete.
Crazy.
And you get a quarterback, because if you look at his stats, I think he had what was it like? It was something nasty, like 6 catches for like 15 yards. Like, the stat line was terrible. But he did get in the end zone, and Algier had a better game than him. Like, it's not even close. But I think that's just because how bad Ritter is, bro. Ritter is bad. Like, this enough experiment with that, man. Like, just go ahead, get that number 1 pick, get my man from USC, and then you'll be really nasty. But yeah, they Ritter ain't it, man. And they gonna. I mean, they won that. That was what's that? That was what did you say, Vince? The dummy bowl? What did you call it earlier?
The bumbo.
The bumbo. That was a bumbo, bro. Those 2 teams was bad. It's like this week we got the Texans and the Colts. That's just gonna be nasty work. Like,
I like the Colts to blow them out, but whatever.
Well, I ain't really got shit to say about that game. It was 2 bad teams, and the team that was probably the worst team in the league that lost, they lost.
Yeah, when it comes to Atlanta, me personally, I think they have too many weapons to get the number 1 pick. Like, I think they'll have a lot of games in such a shitty division where they'll just get wins. Like, they'll beat Carolina twice. They'll split with. I can see them beating New Orleans because New Orleans doesn't look like shit. I can see them getting one from Tampa Bay. So with that, I don't think they get the number 1 pick. I think they got. I think that's the type of team where you go get a veteran quarterback, right? Like, yeah, we might be too good to get a top 5 pick, but maybe we can go get a veteran, maybe a Matt Stafford, right? Like, you put Matt Stafford on this team, you're like, whoa, right?
Yeah,
something's different now, right? If it comes to Carolina, thank you. Fucking thank you. Because I think the Bears are on the clock. We have their number 1 pick for next year, and that roster is just not a good roster, man. Like, I'm looking at it. You got Miles Sanders, who I thought was just really a product of, running behind the best offensive line in football last year. They traded away their best receiver. So it's like you trade away your best receiver, then draft a quarterback. I don't know what the hell they're doing over there in Carolina. I see them getting 2, maybe 3 wins. And that's a stretch. Like, I wouldn't even be comfortable with that. So, it was a bum bowl, but I'm a little bit more higher on Atlanta than I think you guys are. Not a whole bunch. Like, I don't think they're world beaters, but I can see them, just winning a couple of games just off the strength that they got a lot of weapons. Like, I don't even think Cordell Patterson played in that game. So
he didn't, but yeah,
he did.
That's
Drake
my
London
thoughts.
didn't have any catches. I think Drake London had like 2 catches, right? If that.
Goose.
0. Damn. See, that's nasty work, bro.
See,
that's terrible.
Frazier, you got something on that game?
Man, Bumbo, it is what it is. I don't even want to talk about it. People know who love their team. It's just trash. Both teams.
I will say Bryce Young did make some rookie mistakes. He's a rookie. He actually tried to look off. Who was it? Jesse Bates, and Jesse Bates was literally sitting on the route, and he turned and threw it right at him. And I was like, "That's rookie stuff."
That's about the only thing Atlanta got going for them right now is Jesse Bates.
Jesse Bates played out of his mind. I think Bengals might miss him a little bit, but yeah, Bryce Young, growing pains, no weapons, like you said, Vince. He's in a fail situation right now.
He's in a and I can't speak too much on Bryce Young. I'm not a big college guy. But coming into the season, I thought he might just be a little too small. Pause. But man, it's like, as a Bears fan, I know all about this. You just can't put a young quarterback at that in a situation like this because it will fuck them up. So
all their confidence will be gone.
Hopefully that doesn't happen to him. Like, I don't want to see that happen to any young quarterbacks, but he's set up for failure. Like, this is prime failure,
And this is how these quarterbacks, these these number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, whatever 5 draft picks just be so bad in the league. They get put in these situations where it just mesmerizes them. Like, oh my God, like they running for their life every play. O-line's terrible. They got
nobody's open.
They can't hand the ball off. In the box.
You trade away everything on your team.
You don't even want to go out there Sunday. You're like, I got to go play against 8 in the box again, bro. Like, you for your life all day. That's not fun, man. Like, he's set up for failure, bro.
I don't remember who it was, but I know somebody on this same podcast told me something about Adam Thielen. 2 catches for 12 yards. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, that team might not win a game.
I wonder who said that.
Wow.
I know who said it.
There he is.
Wow. Like, this is just a bad.
Why am I on a milk carton though, dog?
Man, you were missing, dog. I thought you were gone, man.
You on the milk carton until you get one right, bro.
All right, boys. Last game, me and Frazier already spoke on it. If Vince and Chuck, you want to talk about Lions Chiefs, I have nothing else to say about it. Me and Frazier kind of went over it last episode, but Chuck's trying not to smile over there. Look at him.
I'll let Chuck close it out since that's his mom. Right, I know, right? Tell him to put the fucking Vikings hat on. But with that, I think I said this on Twitter. I'm not going to discredit that win anymore. That's corny. A win is a win, like I said. A plethora of times in this same episode. So, congratulations to the Lions for beating the champs, because that's tough. No matter who's on the field, they still had Pat Mahomes, they still had Andy Reid, and so to go into Arrowhead and get a dub was pretty big. With that said, man, I think a lot of the reason why I was kind of sour afterwards was because they got away with playing their team without Chris Jones and Travis Kelce, and I'm pretty sure when we play them in 2 weeks, Chris Jones will be there. Well, he will be there.
And Travis Kelce will be there.
Got his contract, and Travis Kelce will be there, and so. Bears will probably end up losing that game, and we'll have to hear the talk. But it's a long season, and I still think Jared Goff has room for improvement. I think he missed some throws. I think that game if you put a better quarterback in that situation, it might not even be close. It might not even come down to that stuff, right?
I agree.
I think there was a lot of videos of him. I think he missed St. Brown in the seam for a touchdown, right?
Yeah,
you can't have that, right? Like those are the plays that got Jimmy Garoppolo out of San Francisco, right? Those are the plays that got Jared Goff out of LA. So
yeah.
I think that Detroit is good. I just don't know if they're world beaters yet. And I think that's just remained to be seen. So that's my thoughts on that. Good win though. Congrats. Week 1 champions.
Hey, like I said, like as a Lions fan and like the way the city was for that game, like I'm being honest, that was like, okay, that was our Super Bowl. Like we haven't had a game that big since we lost to Dallas in the playoffs, right? Am I tripping? There hasn't been a game that big in Detroit. Thursday night, the whole world watching, we won. Now expectations is crazy. And like, don't get me wrong, it's a lot I liked about the Lions win. It's a lot of bad I like. Like, even though they went for it on 4th and 2, and I mean, like, this is a bad play call, but they did score off that possession. So it's like, I'm happy they scored, but I'm like, bro, that's just like,
that's what bad. I'm sorry, I don't
that's
want
a
to put you
bad
off.
play call. I can't get behind it.
That's what bad football is. I will die on this hill that if you are doing a fake punt on your own side of the field in week 1, you're a bad. That's what bad football teams do.
It's just no logic. I can't even explain like why'd he do it. Caught him slipping. Okay, but like that's just a bad. It wasn't even like you was down 21 or some shit, bro. It was like I get it, but it was. I mean, actually, no, I'm lying. I don't get it. It's just something I'll never get why people put if he doesn't get it, he's Ether to ESPN. It's the same lines. They just went front on 4th and 2 and somebody else's territory. It just gets roasted. But
that's the way it works sometimes. When it works, you're the man. When it don't,
that O-line's real. David Montgomery is that guy. I still can't believe the Bears let him walk. He's just a solid running back. He's just going to fight for you. Every yard he's going to fight for. Bijan looked good. They already said they weren't going to give him a lot of carries. They're going to ease him into a role. They don't want to abuse him. We still missing J-Mo.
Bijan, you mean Gibbs.
Gibbs. We still missing J-Mo. J-Mo 6-game suspension. Marvin
looked terrible.
Oh my God.
Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones bad.
Hey, no, pack your bags. I've seen enough after one game. Like he just looked off. Like he don't look like he just looked bad. He just looks bad, man. But yeah, like I said, we did beat the Chiefs without Chris Jones, without Travis Kelce. Would that have helped the Chiefs? I mean, I would be lying if I said it wouldn't. Of course, the game would have been way, way closer. But like I said, look at Mahomes receivers. Kadarius Toney dropped about 8 passes. Like, it's just so much that went. And I'm happy we won. Don't get me wrong, but it's like the whole like everybody like I do think we beat Seattle. I think we beat Atlanta. I do think we start the season off like 4 or 5-0 just because the teams we play they're just bad teams. We got we got Seattle. I think we beat Seattle, and we got Atlanta. I think we go 3-0. Like it's just the teams. But like I need to see this Sunday. Sold out Lions Saints. I need to see it at the at Ford Field. I need to see them beat the Seahawks by at least 9 or 10. I need to see a convincing win. I need to see it, bro. I need them to cover that 5.5 with ease this Sunday, and then I'll feel a little more comfortable about them making some noise this year. Episode 6 is in the books, and we'll be back this Friday with more picks for DraftKings, FanDuel, and our picks of the week.
Yes, sir. Talk soon.
Know what it is.
All right, boys, talk soon.